What's up? It's First and 10 with Degen. If you don't know, I'm the Degenerate 75. I'm a high-limit DFS player who focuses on golf and football. And this is college football, which only a few of you play. But I hope you found my channel because the college football content out there, it kind of fucking sucks. So what's up, new guy? I'm glad you found the channel. If you don't see, I got the big-ass schedule right here. I do content for NFL, golf, and of course, college football, which is what you're here for. So come check it out, man. You know what I'm saying? You might like the cut of my jib. I like the cut of your jib, new guy. All right, so what do we do here? We're going to cover bets. We're going to cover college football DFS. Hopefully you live in one of the 30 states where it's legal and not one of the slapdick states that it's illegal. If you do, I'm sorry. I don't know. Call your local legislator. Okay, so we're going to get going. A little recap of last week. As you can see, the big guy had almost – I thought I was going to have one of those weeks, right? Where like you go 5-0 and you just counting the money, but KU gave up the touchdown to lose by 7, so lost that one by a half a point. Thanks, KU. And then we have Texas Tech with the worst backdoor cover. I fortunately had Texas Tech at 10, but the official line was 9.5. So I pushed on that game. Easily won Texas. Told you to put all your money in the. That was my biggest bet of the year. I knew my Sooners were going to get fucking smoked. That game, you could tell that game was a cover after the second drive. It's like I was already counting my money. And then Tennessee blasted LSU. We're all over that. And then the surprising one, A&M actually showed a little bit of courage, a little bit of heart, and fought Bama tough. So overall, I went 2-2-1, right? Pretty tough week when I thought it was going to be one of those 5-0 weeks. But what are you going to do, right? So overall, what is that? 4 straight winning weeks at betting. I guess this was technically a break even at 2-2-1. But when you put as much money as I did on Texas, it was a winning week. Trust me. All right, let's look at the slate for this week. By the way, I only bet on the games that I'm covering for the college football DFS. So some games that I really like, you got to worry about Kansas not having their starting quarterback. But don't forget, last year, this Bean guy, he roasted OU. You're going to give him 9 points. I'm not convinced OU's healthy. And Dylan Gabriel's just like a stiff gust of wind away from being out of this game again. So don't love that one. Don't love that one at all. Other teams that I'm going to be betting, I definitely love me some Ole Miss to cover Auburn. I just think Auburn really sucks, and I think Ole Miss is actually pretty good, right? So I'm going to go there. Other ones, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm such a Michigan hater, but I think Michigan can pretty easily cover 7 against Penn State. They've just looked so good, so consistent offensively and defensively. It's like, how did this happen? Jim Harbaugh was about to be fired. Now they're fucking awesome. It's so weird to me. Other ones I really like, you know what? I really want to bet the over, but if you don't know me, I'm not much of an over better. So I think what I'm going to do, I actually got this one at 7.5 here. Not that I bet, because in my state it's illegal to bet college football. But if I did bet, which I definitely didn't, I got this game at 7.5. I like Tennessee to cover 7.5. If you can only get it at 7, I mean that's still pretty good. Probably. I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite game this week. I was going to say probably my favorite game, but then that means you're going to go bet more on it. I can't handle that responsibility. So one other game that I was really looking at, where the hell is it? Oh, yeah. If you don't know, I just always bet against LSU and A&M. It typically works out for me. So we're definitely going to be betting Florida with the 3 points covering against LSU. That's where we're at. That's what we're going to do, brother. And if I had to bet one more, I'm a kind of maybe this is because I fucking hate Lincoln Riley, but give me the old Utah Utes covering. Right, they've got mean, nasty fuckers that are experienced against the soft ass USC. Eventually, that USC team's going to get their head caved in. Let's hope it's this week, right? Okay, so there's the 6 games I'm betting this week. I went and looked it up. I think I am now 21-14-2 on the season. So we're doing pretty good. But most importantly, 5-1 in my top bets. Who's my top bet this week? I don't got one. I'm not going to tell you my top bet if I don't have one, because I'm probably going to bet all these games equally. When I say top bet, that's like the game I'm putting multiple units on versus the other ones, right? So there you go. Hey, let's get to DFS. If you don't know, that's daily fantasy sport. That's probably why you're here, you sweaty bastard. I like you. I play a lot too. And can we just talk about over on DraftKings, them taking care of us a little bit this week? A $250,000 main event, $20 entry, 50K to first. You can't 50K to first. Let's go. But it's just not that it's 50K to first, because they do that all the time. It's 50K to first, but it's to first, but it's only 20% of the prize pool. Why does that matter? Because that now means they can make all the other positions really well paid out. Go look at 10th place, $2,000. That is 1/25th of first. How frequently do we see this tournament and it's like 1/100th to 10th or 1/50th to 10th? So the fact that it's 1/25th means like if you get 10th place, that's still a nice hit. So I am very excited about this tournament. I don't know why DraftKings can't do this every week. Maybe they're starting to hear the big guy bitch about it. Maybe that's what's going on, because this is the best tournament they've put out all year. This is one that I'm definitely going to be in there splashing around. Huge prizes up top. Even if you get a good finish, you're going to be very happy with the results. It's not one of those tournaments where it's like first or you're fucked, right? So that's a good one. This 333, most of you don't have that bankroll, but God, if they would just make this a $200,000 prize pool, I'd be all up in this shit too. It's just a pretty good prize structure. For most of you, I think you really want to be targeting like this $4.20 max. Really good tournament, only 10% to first, 10% of first to 10th. You gotta love that. That's such a great tournament to play in. You're playing the same number of entries as everybody. If $4 isn't good enough for you, like that's a little too low for you, go check out the $44, the $12, the $100 single entry, the 153 max. Those are the nuts tournaments. And just always remember, you want 20% or less to be going to first, and you want roughly 10% of 10th to go, 10% of first to go to 10th place, and then you know it's a well-balanced structure, right? That's what we want to know. That's what we want to know. You're like, hey, you say this every week. Well, hey, they're really good rules to follow, because if you don't know DFS is hard, you're wondering why you deposit every week. The first place you can start is Quit Pick and Donkey Dick contest to get in. And you're like, but I like them good first prizes. Well, good. DraftKings took care of you this week, and you're not such a donkey dick for playing in this tournament this week. All right. Hey, while you're here, go like and sub. We blasted through 1,600, on our way up to 1,700. If you like the cut of my jib, you can't help but notice there's no ads on here. Why don't you go throw the big guy? Go throw the big guy a like and a sub. I appreciate it. All right, let's get to what I call the Rosetta Stone, because it helps us make sense of this crazy college football slate. You can see this one. I've decided to start giving you guys all their total plays and targets and all that, so you can see it here on the screen. Over from my Discord, you can see I color code it and tell them who's all the ownership, who's cash plays, GPPs, what are the good games to target. This is the one from last week, right? You can see I do it for the entire slate, but over here you're just gonna get the plain one, and you're gonna like it. Okay. By the way, if you're interested in that, come check out my Discord, which is connected to my Patreon. It's right over here. It'll be in the description. A million mother fathers over there. I think we are now officially 10 for 14 in cash over there. College football cash is like the one place where you can still consistently win money if you're just not a dipshit. All right, let's blow through these games real quick and talk about them. This Auburn-Ole Miss game, I really like Ole Miss's pace. I really like Ole Miss's offense. They are very explosive. They are everything you want in a DFS team. However, I think Auburn sucks, and I don't think Auburn can really push them. And if Auburn can't push them, it really makes me wonder if Ole Miss is going to just shut it down in the third quarter and get conservative. Furthermore, the biggest problem with Ole Miss is their players, most of their guys, they spread their usage pretty equally. They got the two big running backs in Evans and Judkins, but they're both priced very fairly, especially when you consider they're only getting between 11 and 15 touches a game. Jackson Dart seems to be showing some potential, but Ole Miss is also showing a propensity to want to run the ball over pass the ball, and when he does pass it, he doesn't have a usage monster. You can see none of his receivers are averaging more than 6 targets. So as much as I like Ole Miss's offense, I don't know how much I'm going to be getting into this game, simply just because of how much they spread the love around, and Auburn can't push them. And if you don't have a true shootout game, I don't usually want to be involved in that, because in college football, those high shootout games where guys consistently can get 40 and 50-point games, those are essential to taking down GPPs. You want a game that could shoot out? This Kansas OU game. OU's defense has given up a million big plays. Kansas, even with Bean at quarterback last week when Daniels went down, was roasting TCU. I mean, up and down the field. Matter of fact, they didn't have any points until Daniels went down, and then Bean started leading them up and down the field. Devin Neal is really interesting because Highshaw's out, so maybe we see increased usage from Devin Neal. Plus, OU hasn't been particularly good at stopping the run. And if you do want to play a Jason Bean stack, who's actually very high priced for who he is, good luck trying to pick his correct receivers. Grimm and Arnold are on the field the most. Skinner's a good punt. But the real play, if you really want to try to take down a GPP this week and be sneaky and you want to stack this game, well, you got really cheap options with Kansas. Maybe you go run a Dylan Gabriel, Marvin Mims stack, or Jalil Farouk. I will say Eric Gray, he has a 3 or 4 touchdown game coming in him, but man, that OU backfield is such a timeshare. I don't want to be a part of it. Dylan Gabriel at 9,000 with the injury concerns, I would be shocked if he is over 5%. Shocked if he's over 5%. But he will, when he has played a full game, their offense has been very efficient, and you could probably assume he could get 4 or 5 touchdowns and 350 yards. That's a very real. He could be the highest scoring guy on the slate, and if you can get him at 3% and a GPP, I think you got to be open to that. And if you're going to stack him, I think Mims and Farouk are his best options. Problem is, he does tend to pass the ball around a lot. Even his top target guy, Marvin Mims, is only averaging 6.2 targets. A little of that's misleading because, they didn't have a fucking quarterback last week versus Texas. Moving over here to ISU, Texas, I really hate this game. ISU, they suck. Decker sucks. Brock always gets hurt. Xavier Hutchinson, he is an absolute animal. But at 8,300 with a shitty quarterback against the defense is going to be keying on him. At best, I would say you could probably only run him out in GPPs. But you can't ignore 14.5 targets. But surely Texas. Texas has actually been playing some pretty good defense this year. They're going to be smart enough to know that he's the only one that can really hurt them. So they're just going to put a safety over the top of him. So I don't really love any of the Cyclones. Maybe if you want to run a Texas stack, you run it back with Hutchinson. Maybe he has a big game and pushes them. That would be the only way. I will say Quinn Ewers seems like a very fair price, $5,700 for a team with a 3,300 total. But I'm telling you, as good as Texas has looked, Quinn Ewers misses a lot of wide open passes, right? And Texas has really established that they're going to run the ball with Roshan Johnson and Bijan. Bijan at 9,200, he's just unbelievable. He's the best running back in the country, but he is only playing about 70% of the snaps. And when you're only playing 70% of the snaps, and there's blowout potential, it really kills his upside, right? I feel like when you're paying for a guy with 9,200, he needs to have 40-point upside. I don't know if Bijan has 40-point upside, especially when he's not getting any catches. Lastly, Worthy, Whittingham, and Sanders have been the ones that have been out there on the field all the time. Those are the guys you want to target if you want to do a Quinn Ewers stack, but I have a feeling this game's going to play sneaky slow and not a good game you want to target for DFS. There might be some cash plays you could consider here, but if you're really trying to target those shootout games, I don't see any way this game shoots out. So because of that, I'm off of it, brother. Miami, if you don't know, here's a secret. Miami fucking sucks. You want to know another secret? Virginia Tech sucks worse. These are two teams I don't really like. Van Dyke sucks. He does have some nice cheap wide receiver options. If you need a punt at receiver, check out these Miami guys, Brashard Smith, Will Mallory. Their best option is definitely Harry Parrish Jr., who's getting tons of touches. He was getting it done through rushing attempts, but last week he got 10 targets in the pass game. So if he's going to get that at 4,800, he can pretty much go into any type of lineup you want to play, right? Virginia Tech, if you want to play Virginia Tech guy, go ahead. I put him on the list just in case you're wanting to play some weird game stack. But let me go ahead and just do you a favor and save you $20. Don't play him. There you go. If you're playing one lineup on the $20, the big $20, and you're playing Virginia Tech guys, well, just mail me that $20 and I will mail you a kick in the nuts and we'll call it even. All right, we're moving on here. Minnesota, Illinois, just another one of those sloggy, slow Big Ten games. Maybe Ibrahim could get there. He is a monster, and he has been very, very efficient this year. I just worry about the pace of this game not getting there. I think if I were actually going to play a running back in this game, I'd take Chase Brown, averaging 27 touches a game. Truly incredible. Look at that. Rushing 25 times a game, and then two receptions a game. 27 touches. If you have 27 touches, you're just going to accidentally get 20 points, right? That low team total really puts me off of this game. But I think Chase Brown is very viable in cash. If you want to get some weird correlation play, I put some receivers on there that you could run it back with both sides, but you don't want to do that, Bob. You don't want to do that, man. If you want to just go play some random slappies from games like this and hope they go for 20, go ahead. But you could just go play good receivers and good shootout games and almost expect to get 20. Don't step on your own dick. How about that? Penn State, only a 22-point total. Michigan's defenses look very good. Clifford, the quarterback, has had some nice games this year, but he's priced up at $7,200. He's not cheap. He doesn't run the ball at all. He spreads the ball to all three of his receivers pretty equally, so you can't really even target. It does look like, Landau Smith is probably going to be out, so that, maybe Washington and Tinsley get a slight bump in usage there. I don't know. I don't know if I love it, especially with a 22-point team total. Michigan, their quarterback, never want to play a Michigan quarterback. I do love Blake Corum, especially if Penn State can keep it close. Blake Corum seems like he has a 30-point game in him here. He has been so good busting those big runs, and we all know that those big runs get you there, right? That's what wins GPPs. If you're going to play a Michigan wide receiver, go Bell or go with a tight end Schoonmaker if you need a nice punt spot. Okay, but if you really want to target shootout games, if Bryce Young plays, you've got to love this Tennessee-Alabama game. Look at me, new guy. This ain't the Bama defense of old. People have been moving the ball on this Bama defense. Don't think this is like Bama's defense that gives up 6 points. I promise you, if Bryce Young plays, this game could turn into a track meet. And Bryce Young is very, very viable. He's not running as much as we want to think that he is, but he's so damn efficient at passing the ball, he gets there. Here's the problem with Bryce Young. Who in the hell do you stack him with? I literally didn't put a single Bama receiver on here because I'm so tired of trying to guess who he's going to pass to. So here's what I'm going to do. If I play Bryce Young, I'm going to stack him with Jamar Gibbs, or I'm just going to play him naked. That's what I'm going to do, right? Because he spreads the ball around so well and so equally, and Alabama is so fickle about what receivers they put out there and how many routes they get. I don't want to go waste $6,500 paying for one of them. So I'll just play Bryce Young by himself or stack him with Gibbs, hope that maybe Gibbs catches a screen, or they each just get 3 touchdowns. And that would probably get me there too, right? So Bryce Young very live, right? If I get clearance that he's playing, I want some Bryce Young. I think with that kind of total and a team that can push them with another fast, up-tempo, efficient offense, you've got to like Bryce Young this week. Jahmyr Gibbs, I've been slow playing him all year, but it does seem as though he has officially taken over the bell cow role. He gets it done in the pass game too, which, in those full point PPRs on DraftKings, you've got to have that. So those two, I mean, I think they're even both cash viable, even with those big price tags. Over for Tennessee, Hendon Hooker, I mean, I've been playing this. I play him every week. And part of the reason my cash lineups have been so good, he gets it done he has such a safe floor with his legs. He's an efficient passer. They have a good, fast tempo, up-tempo offense. You got to like it. Only time they ever get screwed is when Jabari Small is vulturing his touchdowns, that fucker. So, something to watch there. He does have 3 wide receivers that tend to eat up all of his passes. So if you want to try to, play roulette and guess which one it's going to be, Hyatt, Tillman, and McCoy are the 3. I think that it's very viable to run a Hooker. One of his receivers, run it back with Gibbs and Young. Yes, you're going to have to punt at a lot of your other spots because those are 4 very expensive options. But man, if this game shoots out, those are going to, it'll be Hooker, Young, Gibbs, and whatever one of his receivers gets there, right? So that's a very live play if you're trying to take down a GPP tomorrow. Probably my favorite sneaky shootout game is this Arkansas BYU. I think that these teams, Arkansas, KJ Jefferson and Raheem Sanders are both just underpriced for a team total of 34. BYU, I don't think they're going to be able to match Arkansas's physicality. So like Jefferson and Sanders to me are smash plays at those price tags, especially on DK where they're noticeably cheaper than they are on FanDuel. If you want to stack Jefferson with a receiver, which by the way, in college football, you do not have to stack quarterbacks with their receivers, right? That's such an NFL thing to do. In college football, quarterbacks get there so much more frequently with their legs or spreading it out to 6 or 7 receivers that you rarely see in the NFL that it is okay to play Jefferson by himself, a naked Jefferson. Okay. Or stacking with Sanders and just hope they go ape shit. BYU, I really like BYU on this side. I think both of these receivers, Romney and Puka Nacua, are both underpriced for how good they are. If this game does shoot out, one of these two, if not both of them, is going to go ape shit. Jaron Hall has been amazing all year up until last week. Maybe he's a little hurt. We're not sure. Christopher Brooks, if this does turn into a running game, he's probably their preferred running back. But at $6,800 in a timeshare, I don't know if that's the piece of this game I want if it's truly going to shoot out. I feel like Christopher Brooks would get there in a non-shootout game. Game 9, this is probably everybody's favorite shootout game this week. This Oklahoma State TCU. Both quarterbacks have been amazing this year. Just like I always play Hendon Hooker, I always play Spencer Sanders in cash, and I always get there. The guy is unbelievable. He is having a really efficient year, which when you think of Spencer Sanders, you think of a guy that's not very efficient. He gets it done with his legs. He's getting it done through the air. They run tons of plays. They have a 32-point team total. They're playing a team that's given up a lot of points. I mean, Spencer Sanders checks every box of a guy you want. But there is a narrative where Dominic Richardson is their running back, and he wasn't very efficient last week. So maybe this is the week where that, water finds its level, and Richardson gets those touchdowns, and Richardson busts those long runs. So, I wouldn't place Sanders and Richardson together because they do tend to kind of block each other's potential. If you want to play Spencer Sanders, I would encourage you to only stack him with one pass catcher. Once again, who's that pass catcher going to be? Good fucking luck figuring that out. It seems like Braden Johnson is going to be their number one now that he's back, but he's priced up at $6,800. I just don't know if I want to pay $6,800 for a guy that's only averaging 6.2 targets. Presley and Green are also viable options, but man, it's really tough to stack Spencer Sanders. Whereas Max Duggan, he has a lot of the same upside. If you don't know, Max Duggan can run, Max Duggan can pass, TCU plays fast, and recently he has really been targeting Johnston and Davis. So those are two very stackable options if you want to stack a Max Duggan. I also think he's viable in cash, but 8,000, I think I'd probably, maybe look at some other guys that are a little cheaper that do the same thing as him. Let's see. Keandre Miller has been really good for TCU. They finally priced him up a little bit. He's been floating in the 5,000s. This is a super stackable game. You could run 2 from each side, and then you could go run 2 from the Arkansas BYU game, and if those 2 games shoot out, you're going to be dancing in the streets naked. Syracuse and NC State, let me go ahead and help you real quick. Don't play anybody from this game. Yes, I put people on the list to consider. If you want to get really contrarian and hope that some random game shoots out that nobody's thinking, this one. No one's going to be more than 1% owned. Sean Tucker's pretty good. He gets a lot of usage, but man, how much usage do we really care about when the team only has a 22.5 point team total, right? I'm not interested. I think this one is a game I want to play. I want to get a part of this game, this Maryland versus IU game. But here's the problem, man. As good as Tagovailoa is, as good as his ceiling is, who the hell does he pass to? I mean, you want to talk about really, we keep talking about these quarterbacks not having anybody that is clear they pass to. Maryland is the biggest example of that. So if I'm playing Tagovailoa, I'm playing him naked. And then IU does offer some interesting run backs. They're a fast team. They play up tempo, and in the past they have shown to have a good offense. Not so much this year, but they have shown it before. So maybe IU catches fire. You could run a Connor Bazelak, and then Camper still averaging 14 targets a game. Fucking insane. You could do that. Shivers, I don't know if I really like him in a shootout script or where they're playing from behind. Henderson seems to be stealing some of his third down work, so you got to watch out for that. But this is a sneaky game, a shootout game, but even if it shoots out, you got to pick the right pieces, and I don't know if you're going to do it. Here is my theory, new guy. My theory is, with all of these major conference games, nobody's going to want to play this random little MAC game DraftKings put on there. And if you can't notice, this is a competitive game with a high total with great correlated plays. So this might be my favorite game on the slate to stack in DFS. Why? Well, Curtis Rourke's been pretty good this year. He has 2 wide receivers in Wigloose and Bostic that are very viable. Hell, even their running back, Sieth Bangora, is a viable play. I feel like everybody from Ohio with a 30-point total is viable, and they're going to get pushed by Western Michigan. Western Michigan is not as easy to pick who it's going to be, but you do got to check out Crooms. Basically 10 targets a game is very, very live, and Taylor getting 15 touches a game. If this game shoots out, I'd probably stack the Ohio side, run it back with Tyler or Crooms, but you do see there's other options to run it back on there with, right? So that one could be a good one. You just got to make sure you get the right pieces, brother. And the last one, Wisconsin, Michigan State. Honestly, the total on this game is higher than I would think. It's a little higher than the big guy would have thought. You've got Wisconsin starting to show a little bit of life on offense. They basically only run 2 receivers every play, and they get all the touches. But I think if I'm going to get in this game, I'm just going to pray that Braylon Allen lives up to the freaking badass that he used to be. At 8,200, I think he's going to probably be less than 5% owned. He has a 40-point game in him, right? He has that 3-touchdown, 200-yard game coming. Maybe this is the week, and he breaks the slate. And if you get him at 3%, you're there. Michigan State, I liked Coleman and Reed back when they were in the 4,000s, but now that they're up in the 5,000s and an inefficient offense, you could probably play one of them if you want to correlate it with Braylon Allen, but I just don't know in college football that correlation plays are near as important as they are in NFL. So you might be getting too cute there. If you're looking over at FanDuel, I don't have the players on here yet because there's only so many hours in a day and only 12 people care about FanDuel. But I will tell you some guys to consider. I would definitely be getting in on that USC Utah game. Give me really be targeting Utah, target their running backs. The other one is this Duke North Carolina game. Get all the players you can in there. Get May at quarterback. Stack him with a couple of his receivers. If you want to know that, I will have the full Rosetta Stone out. This thing right here, I'm going to go finish it up, put all the FanDuel games in, color code it, do all my ownership, and get that out from my Discord this evening along with a video. If you're interested in that, well, hey, go check out my Discord, man. It's connected through the Patreon. Hundreds and hundreds of people over there. People love it. We're doing really well at college football. It's definitely been the most profitable just playing cash over there. If that's something that interests you, you do. Also, go check out my schedule. The big guy stays busy. all kinds of content. If you're into NFL, I do Monday night, Thursday night football. I do the live stream tomorrow night where we give away Millie Maker tickets. Make sure to get in that, you motherfather. And, of course, I do golf. And if you don't know, PGA golf is fucking fun. All right, guys, I think that's it. I've enjoyed you being here. Thanks for being here, new guy. Thanks for staying around this long. Make sure to give it a like and a sub. I will talk to you next time, you motherfathers. I hope you enjoy my outro.